Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. Happy New Year to all of you amazing people. 2020, as I'm sure we can all agree, has been an absolute mess of a year. So here's to a better 2021. But today, we have a super interesting topic to go over when it comes to Black Ops Cold War. Before we dive into it, if you're new to my channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and enable notifications so you do not miss out on a new Black Ops Cold War video from me. Over 90% of you guys who continue to watch my videos are currently not subscribed, and we are currently so close to the goal of 400 subscribers, so it would be absolutely amazing if you could help to reach that goal. Also, be sure to drop a like down below and tell me in the comment section what you guys think of the multiplayer in Black Ops Cold War as it stands. I really want to make today's video more of a discussion with the community so we can all share our opinions on the game and how we really feel when it comes to multiplayer in Black Ops Cold War, because I feel that recently there's almost been like an anti-Cold War wave of videos discussing very heated topics I'm sure we're all tired of hearing at this point, such as skill-based matchmaking, patents, connection, and more. All of these videos, of course, have valid points and frustrations shared throughout many of the community. Today, however, I wanted to discuss the topic, is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War really that bad? Contrary to popular belief, I actually do not think that Black Ops Cold War is by any means a terrible game. I know most of my videos recently have discussed just some of the many issues that the game has, but that's only because as someone who has played Call of Duty since the golden days, as you could say, with games like COD 4, COD World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, etc., I care a lot about this series. It's what I grew up playing, so when I make those types of videos criticising things in the game, it's only because I want to see Call of Duty be the best it can be. A lot of you may disagree with my opinion, and that's completely okay. In fact, I want you to have divided opinions to spark discussion in the comment section so we can come to an understanding as a community what's both good about Black Ops Cold War and what needs to improve. First, I wanted to take a look at some of the ratings and the user reviews according to popular review website Metacritic. It's important not to take this as gospel because I feel that with every COD, there's a sort of mob mentality upon release, leading to many negative reviews without much substance. However, looking at the ratings and reviews will usually give you a pretty good understanding of how the player base is feeling. Overall, most of the user reviews left for this game are negative, with some of the most common complaints being most of the topics we are still discussing today, such as skill-based matchmaking, netcode, game-breaking bugs, crashes, etc. On the flip side, we also have many positive reviews of the game, with users stating that they quite enjoy the game and its multiplayer. So this had me thinking about the multiplayer in Cold War and whether or not it's actually as bad as we make it out to be. So being someone who has played every single Call of Duty in the franchise, I have seen the good, the bad, and the downright ugly that this franchise has to offer. I have compiled a list of positives and negatives for the game that I think will not only help us as a community to see what the good and bad aspects of this game are, but also provide some constructive feedback in the hopes that one day our voices will be heard by Activision. I do just want to make clear before diving into the list that these are just my personal opinions and nothing in this video should be taken as absolute fact. Now with that out of the way, let's get into some positive aspects of Black Ops Cold War. The first thing I noticed, and something that I really enjoy about Black Ops Cold War, is the core multiplayer gameplay. Of course, there are other issues which can affect this sometimes, like mentioned before, SBMM, netcode, bugs, etc. But if you strip all of that away and really take a look at the very core of Cold War's multiplayer, it's actually extremely good. It really gives off that classic arcade style run and gun Call of Duty feel which many of us are used to and have grown to love over the years. Compared to the previous game in the series, that being Modern Warfare, it's nice to be able to run around the map and not get punished for it. This brings me into my next positive point, which is the map design. Whilst there are few maps that I will straight out refuse to play, Miami being the most prominent, almost every COD has some maps which people tend to dislike, but I think it's important to realise just how good some of these maps are for creating good gameplay. Again, compared to Modern Warfare and its extremely cluttered maps with what was in my opinion way too many lines of sight, this game has nice semi-uncluttered maps with good routes and clear lines of sight, allowing skilled players to learn the maps and how people are most likely to move around them. If you couple this with the slower time to kill, it definitely makes for a much more enjoyable experience overall. Sure, slower time to kill is not as satisfying as our fast time to kill, but what it does allow for is good players who have good gun skill to usually prevail in situations where they otherwise wouldn't. For example, let's say a player is camping around the corner and catches you by surprise. The advantage of the slower time to kill will usually allow the player with better gun skill to come out on top, which in my opinion makes for much more interesting and fun gameplay. Weapons in this game feel pretty unique and all have their pros and cons which tailor to different playstyles, which is something else I really enjoy. Combine that with the gunsmith system which allows you to create various weapon builds and see extremely detailed stats for each attachment. I think it's safe to say that there is definitely a good amount of variety when it comes to what weapons you can play with and enjoy using. Cross progression is another great thing about this year's Call of Duty. I absolutely love the fact that no matter what you're doing in Black Ops Cold War, you are being rewarded for playing. A good example would be using a gun in zombies to get them initial attachments or even all the attachments. You need to be able to perform well with it in multiplayer. I also like the fact that with the Modern Warfare and Warzone integration, leveling is now a unified system between both of those games, so no matter what you play, you're earning XP and ranking up your account. It's good to see a system like this, as usually every single year you get to max prestige only to lose all of that progression and time you put into the game when a new one comes out. I definitely think this unified leveling system is a step in the right direction. It will be interesting to see where they take that with the next title. But talking about progression, the new leveling system, although I know some people would prefer the old school prestige system, is in my opinion very good and keeps things feeling fresh. Graphics is another thing I really like about this game. Sure, Modern Warfare 2019 looked super realistic and detailed, but when it comes down to it, I really enjoyed the more colourful, cleaner, simpler art styles like we see here in Black Ops Cold War. There is a very fine line when it comes to graphics in first-person shooters, because if you make the game too detailed with what is called visual noise, not only can it cause eye strain, but it can also negatively affect gameplay. I'm sure many of you have noticed that sometimes when playing Modern Warfare 2019, it can be quite hard to spot people due to this issue of visual noise. Whereas in Black Ops Cold War, it's definitely a lot easier to see other players. That of course is if you don't camp in the bushes on Cartel or hide in the shadows with the new operator on Miami, which if you do, they hate you. Just kidding. Now there's a lot more positives that I can think of for this game, but I'm going to leave it at that just because this video is starting to get a little bit long. So let's dive into some of the issues and things that I think need work to make this a much better game. First, let's get the most obvious one out of the way. The beast, the one we're all tired of hearing about, skill-based matchmaking. Whilst I've discussed in many of my previous videos why I don't like skill-based matchmaking in Black Ops Cold War, I have come to the realization that it's not SBMM itself that I dislike, more so how it's implemented within this game. I do agree that it is useful for protecting lower skilled players from seasoned veterans, and I don't think that they should remove it so us players who put a lot of time into the game can go and pub stomp on them. I do think, however, that this is way too strong in this game. It almost feels like a punishment for having a good match. At least for me, when I do really well in one game, I dread playing the next game because I know that skill-based matchmaking is going to match me up with all of the G Fuel snorting, scuff jumping tryhards that we like to see in this game. It almost tries to level out the experience, so everyone has an equal 1 KD. You don't really know when you've done well, and God forbid if you do, because this game will punish you hard. It really does make for an unenjoyable experience, and I really hope that the devs and Activision this year are listening, because there's no way that they don't know that we are, disliking skill-based matchmaking right now with all the publicity that it gets, that they change it or maybe alter the way that it works in the next Call of Duty game. My next issue with this game is the meta. Now, thankfully, it's nowhere near as bad as it was when the game first released. I'm sure you guys remember the MP5 and how it literally outclassed every single weapon category in the game. But I have noticed that it is considerably more difficult to do well with weapons that are not current meta. This also ties into the SBMM system being so strong that players will only often use the most overpowered guns, because when every game is a sweatfest, you take every possible advantage you can get, right? So I think it would be nice for Treyarch to work on some more weapon balancing in the future. And the way that weapons work is also affected by the horrendous netcode in this game. Let me ask this question. How many times have you been shot around cover whilst playing Black Ops Cold War? I don't know how in 2021 a game's online connection can be so bad. I'm not sure if it's an issue with the hitboxes or just the servers in general, but my god, how many times I have shot enemies and my bullets just haven't registered, or I've been shot round corners or whilst crouching behind cover. It almost feels like an old school COD game in terms of its networking, because this is the type of thing that we would usually see back in COD 4, COD World at War, Modern Warfare 2, etc. This was a huge issue during the alpha and the beta, and whilst it has got better and Treyarch are implementing fixes for this issue, I honestly think that it should be at the top of the list when it comes to things that need to be fixed in Cold War, because when it comes to an online first-person shooter, networking should be the topmost priority. Now, of course, I could go on for a very long time about all of the issues and little things that really bug me about this game, but I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to leave it to you guys to tell me in the comment section what it is that you don't like about this game, or any issues that you think are stopping it from being the best Call of Duty it can be. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I thought it would be a bit of a different change because, you know, everyone's been discussing skill-based matchmaking recently, so I figured it'll be a bit of a fresh take. But if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving me a like down below. If you aren't subscribed already and you like my content, hit that subscribe button, enable all notifications to be notified whenever I have a brand new Cold War video out. Again, we're going for 400 subs and we're so close, so if you could help out, hit that sub button. That'd be awesome. You can find all of my socials down in the description. Please go ahead and join the Discord server. We have some great stuff going on in there. So again, thanks for watching. This has been Conrax, signing out.